guys, it's Kara here, and tonight I want to share with you some of my meal prepping for the week using an if it fits your macros approach. Now, I thought if it fits your macros would be easier in terms of planning meals, and I hear from a lot of people, and I feel the same way sometimes, it actually makes it a little more complicated than if you were following a meal plan, because you have options and you actually have to count things, and you have to count every morsel of food, so it can take a little bit more time. The one thing I would suggest for you guys, if you are following if it fits your macros for meal planning, in order to actually meet all your macro goals, what I would suggest you do is go into whatever app you're using to track your macros and play around with what foods you want to eat for the day, and basically try to meal plan and set up your own meal plans to kind of figure it out for how it meets your numbers. It can get really complicated if you just pack a bunch of food or you just eat as you go throughout the day to hit your numbers precisely at the end of the day. And for people like myself who are competing, that precision is key. So I try to do this. Sometimes I will throw in some extra foods to bring with me to work to be safe, but for the most part I do try to plan out a day ahead of time. In my Fitness Pal, I'll kind of play around with, well, if I do the chicken and the beef, can I have the peanut butter? And I play around with it to kind of give myself variety. You don't have to do that. Some people just eat the same thing every day and that works for them. For myself, I need to have the variety. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I have going on over here that I prepare for the week and what I have to bring with me for work tomorrow. What I'll say with meal planning is a lot of people do prepare all their food on Sunday, and some people do it like a Sunday, Wednesday technique, because if you're cooking proteins, you can, cell phone alarm, apologize, one moment here. Your protein, you can only keep that in the fridge for like 3 days, and then you should be freezing it. So for me, I'm gonna be honest, I do cook some protein ahead of time. I've got a huge thing here. I've been really into slow cooking chicken, and what I do is buy the huge pack of chicken breasts and just throw them in the slow cooker Sunday morning for like 6 hours, and literally all you have to do is kind of push them around and they just shred and fall apart. The reason I like doing this, and this gives us like three and a half pounds of chicken raw. So it gives us like a ton of chicken for the week. And I like it because I just keep it plain, and then what I can do is kind of spice it up differently how I want. I can add hot sauce to it one day, or the next day I could add some like salad dressing to it or salsa, and I can switch it up and have variety, which for me is key, and for a lot of people it is key, so you don't get bored with your diet and you don't want to veer off your plan. So for me, this works well, and I've been loving the shredded chicken. We did grilled chicken like all summer long, and then I got tired of it, so now we're really loving the slow cooked chicken. So if we're not done with this by Wednesday, I'll end up throwing this in the freezer, which is still just as easy, because all you have to do is pull it out of the freezer, measure your portion, keep it in the fridge overnight, make sure you eat it within the day, and you're good to go. So I do some stuff in bulk ahead of time, but I am the type of person that I like to plan my meals, the night before, because my husband does help me with my meal prep when I'm competing. I just like things when it's fresher. I don't like to cook things 7 days ahead of time, because the odds are I'm not gonna like to eat it. So this is just how I do it. It might be unique, but that's how I do. So I did cook the shredded chicken. So let me show you what I'm bringing with me for my meals tomorrow. I put the big thing of it away, but the other thing we make every Sunday night is a his and hers protein cheesecake. You guys have probably seen my recipe using MTS Whey. I use the pumpkin pie MTS Whey in the cheesecake, and it's seriously like the best cheesecake ever. Macros on this are phenomenal. I've like made everyone try this, and they're like, oh my god, because it tastes just like cheesecake, and it's, you know, fairly low in carbs. You know, you've got yogurt, eggs, protein in there. I eat this shit for breakfast, and people are like, girl, what are you eating for breakfast? I'm like, cheesecake. You know, people are jealous. So I'll eat this for breakfast every day this week. Usually lasts us through most of the week with the cheesecake that we cook on Sunday. And I did add a little, like, sometimes I do Cool Whip, sometimes I do whipped cream. I'm trying out the True Whip this time. So I brought that for breakfast tomorrow. The other thing I've been buying in bulk is my veggies. Been doing some fresh vegetables and then some frozen because I really try not to waste it. So I've just been buying like a big thing of greens. I've been much better about making sure I eat them and don't let too many go to waste. I always try to find the furthest date away as possible to help out. And I bought a thing of shredded carrots. I'm on a shredded roll here, shredded Jesus. Some shredded carrots, and then I got some like organic grape tomatoes. And for tomorrow I was trying to recreate Pita Bread's power salad, if you guys have ever had it. So I've got a serving of mixed greens in here. It doesn't look as much now because everything weighed it down, with some of my shredded chicken. I bought from Walmart some chunky guacamole. It's avocado. There's like nothing else in it. Some carrots, grape tomatoes, and then a half of lemon that I'm gonna like squeeze over it to freshen it up. And then I also, what I do with my salad dressing so I know how much I'm consuming at work, I buy these little tiny Tupperwares and I just portioned out a couple tablespoons of the dressing. That way I don't have to bring the whole thing of dressing to work with me, and I don't have to like estimate how much I'm adding to my salad. This makes it simple. I'm not gonna cheat the system here and add an extra squirt on, I can't. So it's easy for me if I bring it like this to work. So I've got that. I also grabbed these Joseph's Oat Bran and Whole Wheat Pita Breads. I like these because the macros on them are nice. I just can't always find them. Walmart's really inconsistent with when they carry them. The only thing I don't like about them is they are super high in sodium. I don't eat a lot of high sodium foods, but I am mindful of it. You can definitely taste the sodium in these. So it's probably not something I would eat the week of a competition, but 2 of these for 14 carbs, can't go wrong with that. I'm gonna bring those with me to work. This will be nice to kind of munch on while I'm at work. Also, sometimes I do, like usually I do measure out my peanut butter in the same size Tupperware as I just showed you with the dressing. And then sometimes I do these just because it's already measured out. It's just easier, and it does cost you a little bit more, but I don't know. I go back and forth. Sometimes I just like measure out, you know, my P28 or whatever I have at home. And then sometimes I like these guys because they're quick and easy to bring with you to work. You know the exact nutritionals on them. So I'll probably bring that with me as well. The other thing I always have on hand too, we always buy a good supply of Quest bars. I think I'm gonna bring this with me tomorrow as well. I haven't actually put everything in my FitnessPal to figure out specifically how I'm adding up here yet with my carbs. That's usually the deal breaker on those. So I might bring this, I'm not sure yet. The other thing I made up, you guys know I make lots of protein goodies. I had made up a huge thing of I had the Eat Me Guilt Free brownie mix. And it's awesome because I have the perfect portion brownie pan. So they look like you would think I bought them pre-made, but I made them myself. So, and I actually adjusted how I made them so they're way more macro friendly. So I've got this huge thing of them. You do have to keep them in the fridge. I'll probably be eating these all week as well. But I'm not gonna have this and a Quest bar because it doesn't really make sense. I'll have one or the other. And what else? Oh, the other thing I made, and this doesn't look very sexy and attractive because it's freezer burnt now, but what you're seeing there is the Alexia sweet potato blend mix. I have a lot of frozen type veggie stuff in the freezer. You might be like, you're a dietitian, you shouldn't eat freezer food. You like that voice? It's like a little Mr. T in there. Is it? No, maybe not. So I do still do freezer food. It depends what you're getting. You just have to look at the nutritionals. There's nothing wrong with eating frozen vegetables, frozen potatoes. Just try to find the things that don't have a ton of shit added to them. It's my recommendation for you, my professional recommendation. But this is a nice little blend, and I'm just trying to finish up some of the frozen stuff that I have in the fridge. So I've got a serving in there of that. It's frozen, which by the time I go to eat it tomorrow, it'll thaw a little bit. I'll put just a splash of water on it when I heat it up. I cooked my 4 ounces of 96.4 lean burger tonight with a little sugar-free ketchup on it. Heats up just fine. I could cook up my whole thing of burgers tonight for meal planning or meal prepping. Some of you may want to do that if you have to be a little more efficient with your time. However, like I said, I like things a little more fresh tasting. So usually my husband will cook up a burger for me the night before if I want it to bring to work the next day. So that's kind of how I do that. I did pick up some fruit, so I might bring a piece of fruit with me. This can get tricky if you're bringing fruit with a core in it to work because of the weight of it, but I may just weigh the whole thing ahead of time, figure it out. You could always save the core, bring it home and measure it when you get home and kind of do it from there if you're really that dedicated. I might just overestimate because that's easier, and I'm kind of lazy like that. And then the other thing I like to do, which I think is crucial for meal prepping, and I think people underestimate the power of hydration. For real, you guys, hydration saves me on prep. This girl is a drinker, you know what I'm saying? And having some fun, flavorful drinks when those afternoon cravings hit, and that's one of the most common things I get asked from people is like those 2, 3 p.m. snack cravings kick in and I can't beat them and I don't know what to do. And I've done a video about cravings, so you can check that out. But, you know, not everyone has time to be able to just kind of take a 10-minute walk or think about it. So for me, my biggest thing is just drinking and making sure maybe I'm just dehydrated, maybe I'm thirsty, and most people do mistake their hunger for thirst. So this is an easy way for me to also fill up my stomach, you know, when I'm at work and kind of help get me through the week, especially if you're cutting. Having some extra fun, flavorful fluids can be very helpful. So I recommend kind of having fun with your fluids as well when you're meal planning. So this gives you kind of an overall view of what this week looks like for me. Hopefully I've made it clear that every week looks different for me. I meal prep completely different and I bring different foods every day to keep it interesting. You know, I still count my macros and make it fit, but it helps me stay on the right track to add that variety in. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, give it a thumbs up, and keep checking back for more. Funny because I live in my little Cara bubble and I had no idea this machine was that well rounded, even though I've been working out there the entire summer. So I'm now incorporating this twice a week. I can't go that heavy on this. I'm doing 10 pounds here. If I take it to 20 pounds, I can't get it all the way up to my tushy. So I lighten the weight and I think I was doing about 15 to 20 here. And for me, it's just worth